How you doing? I'm so dead.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
I don't know how I'm standing here. Well, I got this coffee that I hope from 2 hours ago I bought is still warm.
It's already dark over there?
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock, bro.
Sunny.
All right.
This is sun.
Welcome to December 14th of the NBA show. I'm joined here by Jackson, and I am still awake for the last 34 hours, going on 36, something like that. But let's power through this episode and I'll go to sleep. I don't even know if I want to eat. My dad wants me to stop by his place to eat, and I just don't even want to. I'm just stopping by his place and then going to sleep. Let's
I
get
might
right
do the
into this.
same tonight because I woke up at 1 today and I got to
PM.
be up early on Friday. I might pull an all-nighter.
That's good for you, bud. That's good for you.
Who the hell wakes up at 1?
PM?
Degens. Yeah.
I don't know, just degenerates like you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about. Ooh, I'm doing this all off my MacBook, way harder than it is than on the iMac. And let's get right into it. The best three-point shooting team in the league is. I just queued this window up. Fuck you mean this window doesn't exist?
I hate producing these on my MacBook.
Well, I just found a picture of. Who cares? We're talking about the Boston Celtics and how they're the number one three-point shooting team in the league. And sorry if it's just a little out of whack. That's just me being like mentally actually out of it. So let's get right into it. You guys are going to literally watch me click this picture of choice. Boom.
I think he picked the wrong team.
Who, Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
What do you
Should be in
mean?
a Laker jersey.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Also, they're saying Russell Westbrook, if he gets bought out, he'll go to the Miami Heat. Thoughts on that? But
why is he getting bought out?
if he gets traded, then that's what they're saying. So let's talk about what's going on with the Celtics. They're on pace to be the greatest three-point shooting team of all time. Like, they take the most attempts. They're the most accurate. Every shooting stat that there is out there, the Celtics are basically number one. What's your thoughts on the shooting display? You don't buy it? This is all just stuff that Ime Udoka put this into place last year with the ball movement and looking for the best shot. And Joe Mazzulla just carried that over. I mean, obviously Mazzulla's doing a great job, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but I also don't want to take anything away from Ime Udoka. So,
I mean, they were 20 and 21 after the first half. They're the best offense for the time being. We'll see how long it lasts. I mean, the Lakers should have won last night, and they should have handed the Celtics their third straight loss. But a cat named Anthony Davis again decided to.
That game. The reason why the Boston Celtics won that game was because Jason Tatum at the end. I mean, obviously, no. The reason why they lost that game was Anthony Davis free throws, but no, it goes down to free throws. Nobody. Yeah. This is another thing that the Athletic said it best was this is a team. Look at their literally outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis and a little bit of Russell Westbrook. Nobody generates free throw lines. Nobody. I mean, free throw attempts. Nobody goes to the free throw line on this team.
Yeah, Lonnie Walker a little bit, but I mean, the Celtics are a great team. I think the Bucks are better, right? I think the Bucks will be better. Right now, it's Boston. I think Boston has a great chance at getting back to the finals. They're probably my finals pick if I had to make it right now, but I know Chris just got back. Yeah, they're a great team.
I think like Robert, they're the 14th. I think last time I checked, best defense in the league, and that's bad for their standards. And that's them being the 14th best defense without Robert Williams. So for me, I think that's just they're the team to beat. They're everything you want out of a contender right now, and I'm enjoying all of it. I wasn't able to watch last night's games live. I watched highlights and listened to some recaps of the game from beat writers, so I got an idea of the game. But no, it's looking like Jason Tatum It's Jason Tatum versus Zion Williamson right now in my mind for the MVP race. Is that preposterous?
No, I think Tatum. Yeah, Tatum's still my MVP.
But could you see those two being like the finale finalists, like the five?
I can see why you would think that, but no, I don't think Zion wins MVP.
I don't think he wins MVP either, but you think he could come in like top 5?
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean.
Especially right now.
I think this is Jason Tatum's trophy to lose at this point.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like through the first quarter of the NBA season, and it's the other thing is he's one of like the best mid-range assassins in the game, and I feel like when you really take that leap into superstardom, is everyone calls it a 3-level score, but it's really where in the clutch, shoot over LeBron James, hand in your face. Like it wasn't bad LeBron James defense. No, this was like LeBron James trying defense, and mid-range shot, inefficient shot in today's basketball. He hit it over LeBron, and I think that those are the type of shots you start to see more often when a guy takes that leap from last year all NBA player, you would say, to like right now MVP caliber. While we have over here Jaylen Brown, who went from being borderline all-star to now all NBA caliber player as well. And then you got Malcolm Brogdon, like the best 3-point shooter in the league. And then Sam Hauser, I think he's in 3rd place.
Yeah. It'll falter a little bit. I mean, there hasn't been too many teams shoot 40% from downtown in a whole season, and if they do that, that'd be so impressive. I think regardless, they'll be right around it, even if they don't get there. I don't think they're maybe last night got them back up, but I believe they were like down to 39 heading into the game. I don't have the stat on me, but yeah, they're best three-point shooting team in the NBA right now. And
yeah,
Tatum made a huge shot. Lakers still lost the game, but.
And I think the reason why people aren't buying into this team yet is due to the fact that Robert Williams isn't here. But I just think, like, what's the best offense?
Defense, I don't know why people wouldn't be bought into the Boston Celtics even without Robert Williams being back.
Because they're calling them like the Phoenix Suns.
Because they lost finals.
Yeah, and that they're dominating the.
I mean, if they played any other team, they would have won the finals. Any other team in the league.
I mean, if Jason Tatum maybe made 40% of his shots at least, like not even like 45, like at least like 40%, like 40%.
Maybe I don't think they would have beaten the Golden State Warriors, but yeah.
Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, CJ Holmes, the beat writer for the Golden State Warriors, he's a journalist for the San Francisco Chronicles, and he went in the locker room last night after the loss to the loss to Utah, and he said,
Milwaukee.
Oddly enough,
Milwaukee.
It was Milwaukee last night? No, it was Utah. No. It was Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Dude, I'm on brains. I drove 16 hours today, and I still have not slept. It's been like 36 hours. Fuck you. I'm kidding. But no, so he said there's no sense of panic in the locker room. Yeah. And I made a video, and I was like, of course there isn't. Because people don't realize this, for the first quarter of the season is when you can get away with doing the most experimental shit. We've seen so many contenders, the Milwaukee Bucks, people, the year they won the championship, people were like, the first quarter of the year, people were like, what the hell is Mike Budenholzer doing? And he was testing out all these weird rotations and lineups because he knew come playoff time, he had to have tape to rely on. So when they go up in matchups and pull out lineups that they haven't used since the first 20 games of the season, how does which of those lineups work? And I think that's what we're seeing right now here in Golden State. We're actually, Jonathan Kuminga has turned out to be the best of the young guys now, and Moses Moody's the one who's starting to get phased out with James Wiseman, James Wiseman's had a few string of good games in the G League. Still not what you want. Dante DiVincenzo is rebounding, defense, and even his passing acumen is really nice. I think JaMychal Green should be put in consideration being the backup center to Kevon Looney and Draymond Green. Getting a few, I think he should get more minutes. Anthony Lamb, his minutes are weird because isn't he on two-way, but like still I don't What are your thoughts on here? Why aren't they panicking? I just think they got their guy. I think really the biggest thing that they just need to figure out, like people don't realize, like this wouldn't be this big of a deal if Jordan Poole wasn't like shitting the bed right now. If Jordan Poole could be a bit more consistent, I think this team probably has a few more wins in their column, as well as the bench would look a lot better because they would have a reliant guy.
What's up, Thomas? We got a spammer in the chat, but yeah, JaMychal Green is a backup center. I think Dante looked really good last night. Kuminga looks really good. I mean, I think it is important to note that Wiggins is out. I know the Bucks were without Drew Holiday too, so I don't really put too much stock into the game. In fact, it was a pretty close game. Right at the half, the Bucks went on a 6-0 run in the last like 30 seconds, and before that, it was a 6-point game, and the Dubs were getting back, and it just ended pretty poorly. So I think, to me, like I talk about it a lot, but missing guys like Bjelica, Gary Payton, JTA, Damian Lee, and the latter, like.
Do you think Damian Lee and Otto Porter and Gary Payton are the biggest losses out of all those guys?
Well, they're huge losses because they each bring something to the table, and I think Dante and JaMychal are playing good enough basketball, especially last night.
Yeah, JaMychal just can't.
Dante,
his 3-point shot isn't falling yet, but
it's like 2 versus 5. Like they had 5 guys who could all chip in last year, and now they only have like 2 vets.
Well, right now their best 2 players are Curry and Wiggins. Like that's not, and then Klay Thompson has.
No, I mean off the bench.
Oh, off the bench. Like
yeah,
I think right now
they missed all those 5 guys.
They have their 4 guys in Thompson, Green, Wiggins, and Curry. I'm not worried about that, and 5 guys including Looney, and then Jordan Poole. And some nights you have him, but then like right here, this is where I look at this team. I'm like, they actually have a bench right here. Listen to this bench. Curry. I mean not bench, but the team. Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Green, Looney. That's your starting 5. Jordan Poole, Dante DiVincenzo, Jonathan Kuminga, Anthony Lamb, and JaMychal Green. Right there, you don't have to go that deep, but right there you have a 9 to 10 man rotation.
I've been wrong about Anthony Lamb so far this season. He did slip up a little bit. He had some nice threes last night, but I can't put stock into Anthony Lamb being a valuable championship role player for the Dubs until we're at least halfway through the season.
That would benefit from calling up the Pistons for like Corey Joseph, or calling up a team for like a backup point guard, someone who's on a cheap deal, like a vet.
Yeah, I just don't know how they'd have to trade somebody. They'd have to trade somebody they don't want to trade, which I've been saying you got to do.
Do you go out and get DJ Augustine? They would have signed a vet already if they care to get a.
I like Quinn Cook. Quinn Cook's been in the system. He dropped 50-something.
I'm saying no. I got not another shooting point guard. I want a passing.
Quinn Cook isn't a shooting point guard.
No, Quinn Cook is a shooting point guard.
No,
Quinn Cook doesn't pass. Like Quinn Cook's not like a huge, like nothing against Quinn Cook. Great basketball player, one of the best in the world. But we're not going to sit here and be like Quinn Cook's like dropping dimes. Like the guy's career high in assists is 2.5 a game and 22.4 minutes a night for the Warriors. So I'll be honest. Perfect. I think a good player, oddly enough, Chris Dunn. That defense couldn't. Sean Livingston couldn't.
Yeah,
he was good for that defense and rebounding. That's what I'm saying. Like they need a guy who can come off the bench 15 minutes a night, like Rajon Rondo. Okay, obviously not Rajon Rondo, but like that defense and passing. Give me 15 minutes of that. And
I don't really have an issue with the Warriors defense. I think they're getting to the free throw line at no percent at all, like in any way, shape, or form. It's the 3rd worst in franchise history for them. And that is a huge, I mean, you're losing like 8 points a night there. They also are giving up the most free throws. So, I mean, you're missing like possibly even double digits. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too worried. It looks kind of like Golden State last year when I know they got off to that historic start and it was, looking crazy. They were like 20-4 or something, 20-2, something like that.
Golden State might have. Continue. Sorry.
Once their guys started getting injured, they lost like 7 to 8. They lost 4 straight right before the playoffs. I don't.
We're also forgetting something.
Until we get to February, I'm not really gonna.
I was about to say that.
Pack at all.
10-day contracts start in January.
There you go.
And people forget how important 10-day contracts are because I think what is it, 2 or 3 10-day contracts or 3 or 4? I think it's 3 or something. You can only have a certain amount of 10-day contracts, and then they have to make a decision either to sign you for the rest of the year as a two-way player or a minimum non-guaranteed contract. And I could see the Warriors be a team that looks at Eric Bledsoe. I know he's coming off. I don't know. He's coming off that Achilles injury. DJ Augustine. He's a good 3-point shooter who still has some quickness and playmaking chop. But I think they want someone defensive. Like I doubt they bring in like a Rajon Rondo, especially with like a Draymond Green there. But like really like done. I would have loved to see Composer there, but Alfred Payton. He's been in the system before. Didn't Alfred Payton spend what?
Every player naming cannot shoot the 3 ball.
But Sean Livingston didn't, dude. The thing is I'm talking about the fact that they don't need another. They need a guy who can come in for literally 10 minutes a night, put the rock on the floor, and literally run an offense when Curry is off the floor, and then have Poole play off of him.
Then why didn't they need that last year?
Because they had, like, first off, Draymond Green was having a great passing year, but they had Nemanja Bjelica. People forget how great of a passer he was. That was like one of the things. Dante could pass. But you also had Gary Payton II, another guard. So, like, it's not even a ball-dominant point guard, Jose Guzman. It's
exactly what you want.
I just want to pass. Like, I want, like, a Trey Jones or, like, a Tyus Jones.
Who doesn't? Yeah, who doesn't want to?
I know who doesn't want that, but I just want a guy who can come off and give me like 5 assists and like a few points.
If the Warriors didn't win the championship last year, I'd be like, yeah, sure, but they did it with Jordan Poole as a backup point guard. So I don't like Jordan Poole's body language this year at all.
Do you think it's because he got paid?
No, I think he might just be a motherfucker, but.
Hey, you were on the Jordan Poole camp.
He's one hell of a scorer. It's better to pay him than not to pay him and lose him.
So, I don't mean to go switch on a dime right here, but the Hornets announced, I believe, is it official that he's playing tonight? I don't know. I think he's making his return tonight. LaMelo is returning because he sprained his ankle to start the season, then sprained it again after a few games. And look, we've talked about this before. At this point, what do you think LaMelo Ball? Like, I'm not even. LaMelo Ball is a generational talent. He's fantastic. But what's the plan at this point? First off, Kai Jones and the limited runs we're starting to see with him, guy can play, okay? But LaMelo's out here. I think they need to do what the Pelicans did and try to surround LaMelo with the talent. Thoughts?
Definitely. I don't know what the hell to do with the Hornets. I would tank the whole year.
I would tank this year. This is the last year you could get away with it. You tell LaMelo, look, you haven't been healthy. Rough start. Literally, Steve Clifford is here as like a seat warmer for an actual coach we can go and get in the offseason that won't flake on us. And we'll get a really good draft pick that either we can get someone like Scoot Henderson or Cam Whitmore or Amen Thompson, who's literally looking like a more athletic Ben Simmons, and you either do that or you use that pick, package either Terry Rozier or Gordon Hayward, and you go out and you get one of these alleged guys who are going to become available this offseason, and you try to build a team around LaMelo. And I don't know who could be your Brandon Ingram. I think it's easier because you don't want to trade Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier with a pick or whatever for more vets. You want a guy who's maybe like a DeJounte Murray caliber player if you're doing a move like that, sort of like how the Hawks did this offseason. And you look around the NBA, I don't know out of those players who would become available, but LaMelo, what do you think's the goal for this season? Obviously, he's a guy that on the year, he's played 3 games. The stats don't matter because it's 3 games, but he's a guy that's improved every single year. And he's only 21. He literally just turned 21 4 months ago. Thoughts? Sorry for rambling.
I'm not doing anything with Charlotte. I mean, if a guy like OG Anunoby became available, maybe you try and make a push on him, or a guy like Miles Turner or DeAndre Ayton, maybe you try and get into these type of
I kind of
situations.
like the aided LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I thought you were about to pull up some.
But that doesn't fix the
Well,
defense because Aiden's not a good defensive
you're not
center.
fixing the defense this year. You're
I
not fixing
really
jack
like
shit
the
this
OG
year.
Anunoby. The OG Anunobys, I would really like to see OG Anunoby
Yeah.
and LaMelo Ball, because right there you got two cornerstones right there, and I think OG Anunoby would be the type of guy that you trade for him and he'd just jump up to like a 22 point per game score.
So I would,
And go.
I would try and get a cat like that, like not extremely young, but not old, defensive minded, because you're not going to fix anything if you're Charlotte this year. But what I do need to see is first off, I'm trading guys like I'm trading Terry Rozier, I'm trading Kelly Oubre, I'm trying to trade Gordon Hayward. I probably have to trade PJ Washington because it
You
doesn't
got to
seem
make a
like he'll be
series of
back.
moves, like
They're
how
going to have to make a ton of moves, and then I would focus on guys like Book Knight, Nick Richards, maybe even DSJ, Jalen McDaniels for sure, Kai Jones, as you were talking to, JT Thor, and I'd probably Bryce Newbie. I would try and see who's going to be a part of us long run, who can help us get to where we want to go while shipping away these veteran players. Like, I mean, you never
That's
know.
what this
Maybe
season needs to be about.
yeah,
Figuring out who on this roster isn't going to get traded. First off, trade Kelly Oubre and Mason Plumlee
because
before the
Oubre's having a
deadline.
career year right now.
But he's an expiring contract. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
unless he verbally commits, hey, I'll resign for like 12 a year for over 5 years or 4 years. Oh fuck yeah, I'll take that. I'll do that for you, Oubre. But if he's like, nah, I want like 20 a year. Okay, let's move on from you before the deadline. Mason Plumlee, as much as my girlfriend loves him, it's her favorite player.
Fuck him.
Try to match. No, people will want him, but like Cody Martin for the future. Okay, PJ Washington, another guy. Are you going to pay him or are you going to let him walk in free agency? He's another guy you should look at. But we need to see if Mark Williams. I saw Kai Jones. He stole a ball and then went freaking coast to coast basically after he stole the ball. And so we need to see if Kai Jones, Mark Williams, James Bouknight, Jalen McDaniels, Nick Richards has shown flashes. Okay, JT Thor, Teo Maladon has even showed flashes. Like who here can come over and be part of the next year's roster? So if they make a big splash, because if you're looking at salaries out here, who's a player that could be available that has a big salary? There's people out there that they can maybe, what if Karl Anthony Towns does become available? That's a big thing they could make a splash for. Okay. What if Kyle Kuzma on free agency, they want to clear cap space to go sign? That's a deal I also think could really benefit them. Or there's other deals out there that, we know Denver's not fully sold on Michael Porter Jr., and they could also maybe sweep in and take Michael Porter Jr. out there if they give him a good enough package. Okay, there's deals out there that I think they can come in and sweep a player from a team. Like Julius Randle.
They'd have to. I wouldn't even be surprised if they were to give up Terry Rozier for.
Oh, I say Terry Rozier, trade him.
Well, he's got to be traded because he's on a horrible, or it
not
maybe
horrible.
isn't a horrible. It's gonna be horrible for them where they're trying to get to, is what I mean. I got to pay him almost $25 million for the next 4 years.
I think this team needs
on a team option too
to find a backup point guard and then get like 5 wings. Or this team just needs to be the most like kind of do what like the Pacers are doing, or like the Raptors, just be this long 2-way team in transition that you can beat people. And I think that'll help you in the long term.
Yeah, I would focus on accumulation to make a big time splash. Like if you were to actually give up Terry Rozier for Pat Bev and Kendrick Nunn in that first, like if they got desperate enough or whatever the money would work and you're able to trade away Terry Rozier and somebody else, whatever happens, like you use that Lakers pick as, what's up, Josh? You use that pick and Double J as, to get that guy like Cyro was talking about, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, whatever happens. I don't know how the hell you fix Charlotte, but I know with LaMelo, you don't have all the time in the world. So, and especially when these cats are on rookie contracts, it makes it all that much more like, all right, we got to figure this stuff out right now. Like I would start to unload. I would get back on track next year, similarly to what Indiana's doing. Then he's got that player option last year, like, because you're going to have to pay LaMelo Ball soon or he's going to want to get out, whatever the case may be. So, oh no, they're 7-20. I don't think LaMelo Ball is going to help them out win that much. What if they lost 6 straight, 5 straight? Yeah. They'll be just fine. They'll get a top 5 pick. Yeah.
I think this is the last year you get with the top 5 pick, and this is just something that like I think when you look at this team, a top 5 pick. Look at what the Boston Celtics were able to do by having a top 5 pick. They're able to, either leverage it in certain situations, and I think right here, Gordon Hayward's contract could be a blessing in disguise. Okay, all the good players are on big money contracts over $30 million a year. What if Zach LaVine becomes available? I'm not saying Zach LaVine puts you over the edge, but if you could get Zach LaVine and you just have to attach a pick with Gordon Hayward or something, I know that's not obviously, but if that pick's like a top 5 pick, that's what I'm saying.
The Bulls or the Hornets?
The Hornets, if they get a top 5 pick.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
The 5th overall pick, Gordon Hayward, and I'll give you like James Bouknight in the 5th overall pick for Zach LaVine. Would you do that deal?
Shout
out to everyone watching right now.
It'll be interesting to see. This team hasn't made the playoffs since 2016, and I think it's been very clear they've been stuck in like 36 wins, 39 wins, 23 wins, 33, 43. You can't do that this year. You cannot win 30 games if you're the Charlotte Hornets, to me, because like I just saw a tweet about 2002. My Chicago Bulls won, I think, 30 games that year, or 27 or something like that. And we missed out on Bosh, Melo, et cetera, et cetera. And we ended up drafting, Captain Kirk and forget the other guy. But like, I think do a season like Indiana.
I just
completely lose.
Yeah, like Indiana, they did.
Portland,
they're a team that's schooling. But for me, what I'm thinking right here, 2 years ago, before last season, the season that they hired Willie Green, before he even got the extension, there was rumors that Zion was
his way out.
Sorry, my dog's being a cunt. But no, so there was rumors that Zion wanted out because he wasn't fully sold on the Pelicans like organization, that they were maximizing his window. And he forced the Pelicans' hand. That led to the CJ McCollum deal, that led to the Jonas Valanciunas deal, and several other deals, Larry Nance. And people overlooked this. And that all led to, because Zion slowly leaked to the media that he wouldn't sign the Supermax. No matter how much money they gave him, if they don't improve this team and maximize around him, he wouldn't sign them. They could give him all the money in the world. He's like, I'll make up for it in endorsements. So this is something that they should look at with LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball should force the Hornets' hands and be like, look, you got a generational talent in LaMelo Ball. And right now he's injured. So this is the last season that you could go to LaMelo and be like, look, we're going to run it with the young guys. Okay. See who's actually worth what we talked about earlier for the future. And then Gordon Hayward, I know in your mind, you're like, that's a terrible contract. But what if you look at it and you say, oh, shit, no, this is a great salary filler. And you either go out and get a superstar for him, or, yeah, that's literally, and then you use Terry Rozier to get like multiple players like a Josh Richardson. And, I don't think you get Jakob Poeltl, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that.
Yeah, you never know. I think Shea's going to do the same thing that Zion did, and LaMelo will shortly follow out. Luka's going to do the same thing too.
You just got to force their hands.
Yeah. Like I don't know why teams don't understand, when you have your championship player, the draft doesn't matter. It simply doesn't matter. Maybe LaMelo's does if you get the third pick, or if you get Vic, or you get Scoot. Like maybe that's completely different, but that's the outlier. Like when you have your championship franchise player that you can like realistically win regardless of who's on your team for the next 10 years, or be a good team because he's that good, like just your draft picks don't matter. They do not matter. Unless you want to take a route like Boston and just continuously, or Golden State and just continuously perfectly draft. But given Charlotte's track record recently, I wouldn't put too much stock into that. Could you imagine Charlotte right now if LaMelo Ball was properly picked for the Golden State Warriors?
They have James Wiseman.
It'd be a shit show.
It'd be interesting to see. They got lucky right there. All right, now I wanted to talk about real quickly. This will be a small segment for us, but our dark horse contenders for this year.
Who's your dark horse contender?
Okay, the teams that I'm excluding from dark horse contenders are teams that are leading the conference or have won the championship. So like Bucks, Warriors, we're taking out. I would say the Celtics and the Heat, Suns, Grizzlies.
I don't think I don't think the Heat. I think the only one should be Celtics, Bucks, Suns. And the list. Golden State. Did I say Golden State? I think the list
You
ends
didn't say
there.
Golden State. Yeah, so mine is the Portland Trailblazers. I think Portland Trailblazers, if fully healthy in the playoffs, if Gary Payton actually looks like Gary Payton II, Justice Winslow, Shaedon Sharpe off the bench. And there's rumors that they're trying to get Nerlens Noel. And if they can upgrade, nothing against Drew Eubanks. Good basketball player.
But now you want to move on from Drew, finally.
But you tell me okay. No. That's like asking someone, do you
the issue is not Drew Eubanks. It was you can do better than Drew Eubanks.
You can do better than Drew Eubanks. Yes. There's nothing wrong with Drew Eubanks. But if you tell me I can get Nerlens Noel, a guy who's like actually like one of the top rim protectors in the league when he plays and he's healthy, fuck yes. I'm taking Nerlens Noel and Jusuf Nurkic rotation over Jusuf Nurkic, Drew Eubanks. Don't get me wrong. Love Drew Eubanks. He's done a great job. They probably will keep him on the roster as the third big man because they like him that much. But yeah, I think right here you're looking at the Portland Trailblazers. I just think what they've been able to do so far, especially with Damian Lillard being injured and for a majority of the season, I think this is a team that is a threat, and it's because they got the Damian Lillard double and Anthony Simons. And this is a team that's currently, I believe they're in the standings, they're in not ninth place, but fifth place, my apology. In fifth place, that was bad. Fifth place, and they're really only 3 games behind from first place. And this is a team that is actually playing really well on the road. They actually have a better record on the road than at home. And it's also just crazy to believe that they're 15-12 without Damian Lillard regularly playing. And for me, I think that's the catalyst of all this, that I thought Dame was going to have an MVP season this year because it was his last year. I mean, there's still time for him to just go like supernova and do like the
Dame will get picked as their all-star. What is he averaging? He's averaging 30-something since he's came back.
I just think the only thing that's holding this team back from being legitimate contenders, and this is why they're trying to get a Nerlens Noel, and this is why Gary Payton, if he comes back healthy, is going to help so much. They're the 8th best offense in the NBA, but they're the 23rd defense, so they're the 7th worst defense in the NBA, and that's right there, okay? So the thought is, if the Gary Payton first, that's going to help you, and then if you can get someone like Nerlens Noel, who's going to help protect the rim better than Jusuf Nurkic does, that's the whole thought process right there. And I think this is a team that if they can just improve, like they're one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league. Okay. They get to they're like one of the better free throw shooting teams in the league. And they're in the middle for like rebounding and assists. Okay. And scoring. Like they have the stats right there that show this team can be a contender because they got a core of Simons, Grant, Lillard, Hart, Nurkic, and then you got like the energy from Shaedon Sharpe off the bench. You got the glue guy in Justice Winslow, then Naz Little, Keon Johnson. Those guys and Trendon Watford can do a little bit of everything. It's just adding a little bit more beef to this, and I think they're going to be big players in the buyout market.
Yeah.
What's your team?
I think Shaedon Sharpe's a stud.
I love Shaedon Sharpe.
Well, I think the obvious answer for me is New Orleans.
He has quiet down. Jalen Johnson. Shaedon Sharpe has quiet down like as much as and it's nothing against Shaedon Sharpe.
He's going to be a stud.
Oh, no, he's going to be a stud, but I want to pull up his stats exactly like month by month. And if we saw in the beginning of the season, he was just like dominating. Remember, just coming off the bench, people were like shocked by Shaedon Sharpe. but over the last few games, like depending on the situation, like he's been having to earn his minutes is the best way to put it. Chauncey Billups isn't just giving the 7th overall pick minutes. And if you look at it, like right now he's going through a little bit of slump through December, but to start out the season, he was averaging like 9 points in 18 minutes. And then in the month of November, we saw the guy that he is, dropping 8 points a night. He's going to give you a little defense, grab a few boards, okay, maybe drop an assist there, but he's primarily going to be pulling up from 3 and finishing plays as a slasher or, transition or just getting the putback dunk. Energy guy right now. That's the best part. Who's your dark horse?
Well, like I was saying, I think New Orleans is an obvious answer, so I won't do New Orleans. My issue with Memphis is they're really good right now. They're a top 5 defense, actually. They're a great offense. I don't think Ja Morant can be your best player on the championship team. That's my issue with who said
Is this
something
pundit or
what?
Is this you being a pundit or is this your genuine thought?
What's a pundit mean?
Like Stephen A. Smith's a pundit.
I don't know what that word is.
It just means
Jalen Johnson. No, I don't think Cleveland can be I don't think they're quite there yet because Darius Garland can't be, Donovan Mitchell cannot be my best player on a championship team, as talented of a scorer as he is, and he's playing much improved defense. I think for me, Nikola Jokic, defensive liability. I think for me personally, it's a coin flip between Brooklyn and Los Angeles, and I would actually say if I had to make a dark horse NBA Finals, it would be that. I think the Clippers, I don't give a damn what their regular season looks like because if Kawhi Leonard is healthy,
Clippers or Nets?
I choose both, but I'll go Brooklyn Nets. My thing with the Clippers is Kawhi Leonard, I mean, they're starting to ramp him up, and you can tell how good he is. He's still one of the best players in the league when he's healthy, and if they can just be healthy into the playoffs, they'll be just fine. With Brooklyn, I think Ben Simmons really is a X factor as far as winning a championship goes. I saw Jacques Vaughn say that their minutes were probably a little too high with Ben in that injury. So I think Ben's going to be I think they're going to monitor and limit him for the time being up until probably the second half of the season. But this is a star-driven league. You need to have a superstar in the NBA Finals. I don't care what you tell me. You need to have a superstar in the NBA Finals. If you want to win a championship, you have to have a superstar. It's a superstar-driven league. So when I look at Brooklyn, that not only do they have a really solid bundle of role players, but Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving
doesn't take days off.
It's just, KD.
See Kawhi Leonard resting. Nothing against resting, but you got Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers resting guys, and that's part of the reason why their record. No, it's fine because they're going for the playoffs. But Kevin Durant, guy blew his Achilles, and he's night in and night out, just fucking dropping 30, playing like an MVP. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Clippers were our all preseason. I drank the Clippers Kool-Aid. Like, I'll be the first to admit I was so pro Clippers. This was a pro Clippers championship show. Yeah. I think they were like my pick.
Yeah, I had them one at the power rankings.
Yeah, we had them one. So Clippers, yeah, that's a great dark horse that I didn't even think about.
But I think they're a dark horse, Thomas, because they only recently got going. They were not good. They're actually still one of the worst offenses in the NBA. But I think that win over Boston was a very big, and even Kawhi, I think that was just a big, all right, we actually haven't gone anywhere, and we're doing all this with limited playing time, I guess. But Kawhi going 10-12 for 25, 9, and 6, that's what you get. And dude, their bench is so goddamn deep, man. They're literally so freaking deep.
It is pretty crazy to think about how deep that bench is.
To my recollection, Powell isn't even back. So, they're just such a deep basketball team. It is crazy. It really is.
We'll see how it all goes down. I have the Clippers in front of the Nets in this conversation due to the fact that unless the Nets, I just feel like there's a move right there for Joe Harris. I don't know who it is, but there's maybe not even Joe Harris, but there's a move out there for somebody that I feel like the Nets, if they go out and get somebody, I'm not saying Jay Crowder, but a Jared Vanderbilt. Imagine if they could get Jared Vanderbilt.
Dude, Jared is an absolute.
Imagine Jared
freaking
Vanderbilt
banger.
grabbing rebounds for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and then Kyrie running pick and rolls with V8.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah, it's fine.
but here, I wanted to talk about another guy, and really it's a team and a guy, but everyone's crowning Russell Westbrook as the sixth man of the year. And I made a video today
Obviously,
talking
he's an
about.
all-star too.
Do you know what Bobby Portis' stats are? He's averaging 14 and 10 in 25 minutes a night. Over the last 10 games, he's like averaging 15 and 10. Yeah, he's shooting 31% from three, but the guy is averaging, I think it's like per 36, it's like 18 and 15.
I don't care about per 36.
I know, but like Bobby Portis is literally the most just dominant offensive big man, like a microwave off the bench.
He's so
He's one of
critical.
the
He's a
most,
nice energy guy too.
yeah, and he tries on defense. I'm not saying he's a great defender, but he tries at this point. He tries. Dude, he's 6'10", 250. The Milwaukee Bucks, it feels like they've had the same like core guys for like 5 years now, but Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, and Bobby Portis have been the mainstay, but Javon Carter.
Oh my God, he's so important to this team.
Javon Carter is
he's so important.
Is the new Pat Bev in this league that people respect.
For real.
Like Javon Carter.
He's a non-annoying Pat Bev.
But he is annoying. He's like so pesky. Like Javon Carter's bald head is in the opposing's best guard all game. Like or second best guard.
I don't view Javon Carter as a motherfucker like I do.
It's because he's silent. Like he's silent, like Mr. Miyagi.
He's not arrogant. There. How's that?
That's good, yeah. I mean, he came out of West Virginia. He was a chip on the shoulder, steel lunch pail guy.
He was an older cat, and no one really
Javon Carter,
because of his age.
You know what Javon Carter is? He's a blue collar guy. Blue collar.
Like
He's a blue collar guy. That's why Javon Carter's nice. He puts his head down and he goes to work. Some nights he drops 20. Some nights he goes 0 for 10. Okay, but has like 2 steals and a few assists and literally ends with a plus 30 in the plus minus.
Yeah.
So,
and there are some nights where he drops 40.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think about this team. Like they're like thinking about trading Grayson Allen, who hasn't been terrible for them, for Jay Crowder, which is like that's an immediate upgrade. They have Marjon Beauchamp in the background. So, same thing with Jordan Nwora. They got Pat Connaughton. They still are holding on to George Hill, but like you think right there, they got George Hill and Grayson Allen and Serge Ibaka, 3 players that you could arguably say be, potential salaries for a move that they can make at the deadline. I
don't think they will. Get what you're saying, and don't forget about my cat Wesley Matthews.
Oh, Wesley Matthews is another guy who's indispensable for this team. Indispensable. So, he went to Marquette. He's like a Milwaukee guy. Like he is like taking basically like the least amount of money for like the last 2 years to be on this team because like this is what he's wanted. Like he's wanted to play for the Bucks. Like this is like a lot. Like this means like more than anything in the world. And like you can tell like he's literally so passionate.
So they're just a great team. I mean, their offense will figure it out soon. Chris Middleton's been back for, I believe, 5 games, and I think Pat's been back for 5 or 6 as well. Maybe it's 6 for both of them, but these are 2. I mean, they were still one of the best in the East without them. Chris Middleton's their closer, so that should terrify teams. They just put a beating on Golden State with like still limited Pat and Chris, and Drew Holiday was out. And I just saw the Defensive Player of the Year ladder at Brook Lopez is number 1. So,
yeah. So the Bucks. First off, people were like not realizing this surgery Brook Lopez had for his back gave him 2 years back in his like athleticism. Brook Lopez, not saying that he was washed or anything, but for the last 2 years, he lumbered, like literally the definition of lumbered up and down the court. Like you could tell he was in pain. And this year, you can tell whatever surgery or procedure he had last year that made him miss almost the entirety of the year. He came back at the end of it. Really, and then having this offseason to, continue the rehab and work on it. Brook Lopez has refound himself. People forget this guy was like a top pick back in what, like 08, 07 or whatever it was. Like Brook Lopez was one of the 20-point scoring big men in the league. And It's great to see him. He's a great story right now. And he's averaging 14.5 points, 40% from three. Okay, 3 blocks a night. Brooke Lopez, if there's a comeback player of the year award that they should do that. They should have a most improved and then comeback player of the year like the NFL does. Brooke Lopez is up there, Mr. 10 overall in 08. 10 overall. But yeah, this is a great team. Great team right here.
I don't think the NFL is a comeback player of the year award.
Yeah. Alex Smith won it. Brett Favre won it, I believe. I think Peyton Manning won it.
Fascinating.
You didn't know that?
Fascinating award.
Yeah, it's comeback player.
Geno Smith is.
He'll probably win it this year.
Yeah, he should win it, dude. That's such a cool award. What the hell?
You didn't know that?
Joe Burrow last year.
He was last year's?
Yeah. Alex Smith a couple years ago. Tannehill, Andrew Luck, Keenan Allen, Jordy Nelson. Yeah.
It's cool.
I did not know it existed. That is very cool.
It's a
Chad
really
Pennington. Cool. Anyone in the chat remember? Do you remember Chad Pennington?
I love Chad Pennington. Chad Pennington. That guy would. He's like one of the most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history.
Yeah, he's dope. I have several of his football cards.
Really? Yeah. Chad Pennington's the fucking goat. I love Chad Pennington. As a guy who had a noodle arm, I respect the hell out of Chad Pennington. Now let's talk about this team. The Utah Jazz, they're a hard team to crack, okay? Some nights they look like legit, and then other nights,
Last night?
You
can count on the second best team in the Western Conference. The best team in the Western Conference.
They're currently the 8th seed, and they're tied for the 8th, 7th seed. They're a playing team right now, but they're basically they're really just tied up with the Suns, Trailblazers, Clippers, Kings. So they literally are in the play-in playoff mix right now, quarter way through the season. And this is a team that I don't know if literally we're going to wake up one morning and Adrian Wojnarowski and Shams Charania are going to be racing each other for announcing trades, or this is a team that's going to be not make any moves except maybe they trade a few young guys or something. Really the only guy I could see being traded at this point. I don't want to say I could see them moving on from Talen Horton-Tucker, but I think he's literally nobody would want him. Besides that,
I want him on the
Rudy Gay seems like a buyout guy. If someone wants to take Azumbuki or Balmaro, they could do that. I doubt it, and
get some playing time for Oche.
Malik Beasley and Olynyk.
I think Malik Beasley could be a guy on the move.
But this is a team right now. Their stats for the season so far, they are the 5th best 3-point shooting team in the league. They're the 8th best in field goal percentage, 10th in field goal attempts. They're the 8th best 2-point field goal percentage. They're not really that. They're the 8th worst free throw, getting to the free throw line, but they're the 11th best rebounding team, 9th best offensive rebounding team, 8th best in assists, 15th in steal, 13th in blocks. And right now they are an offensive rating of the 4th best offensive rating in the league, and they're the 6th worst defense in the league, but they have the 9th best net rating because they score 117 points, which is a nice.
Is that good?
Points. Yeah, 2nd best in the league, but they give up 115th, which is 9th worst in the league. So they're beating teams because they just outscore the fuck out the team player. Literally, look at this. They have 6 dudes scoring double digits. Lowry with 22 a night, Jordan Clarkson with 20 a night. 14 from Sexton, 14 from Beasley, 13 from Olynyk, 10.5 from Conley. Then you're getting, almost 8.8 from Vanderbilt, 7.5 from Horton-Tucker. Then Nickeil Alexander, who low-key started to come alive for them the last few games, is like a combo guard,
I like him bench.
And then you got Mr. Block Party, Walker Kessler.
He's so critical to this team, dude. I cannot begin to tell you. I watched that Pelly's game last night, which it was such an impressive victory, but I know they're without Brandon Ingram. This team lost Mike Conley for 9 games, and you were thinking maybe this would be the end of this magnificent run that they're on, and it was not. And it's just very cool to see Lauri Markkanen take that next step. Guys like Kelly Olynyk it's so important. I don't actually think Danny Ainge is going to blow it up at this point. I don't think that they're.
So you think they're legit?
I think the best they could do is the 6th seed. I think they're a play-in team just because their defense is going to falter unless they make some type of magical move. But I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to blow it up because they have a shit ton of assets still. They kind of have everything. All they really need now is a
I
franchise
don't think
player.
they may. Yeah, I agree. I don't. This is the type of team that I think they're going to run it out unless like somebody really wants Malik Beasley and they or Mike Conley
I
or Kelly Olynyk. If someone forces their
yeah.
hands, I think this is a team where like someone goes over here, take basically Kelly Olynyk, take Malik Beasley from us. I don't see them making a move. The only move I see this team making again is like Leandro Balmaro or Azumbuki, the guys that they declined their options. If there's someone gives them, hey, we'll give you a second round pick or cast considerations, and it's some like the Spurs or the Rockets, and they're just like running these guys out for the rest of the season to see if they want to do like what happened to Jalen Smith last year. And I think Utah is a team that they run out with this core roster for the season. And I think they'll look a little bit different. They're figuring out which guys are for the future and which guys aren't. Like Lowry and Jordan Clarkson seem like for the future, and Colin Sexton
It's
as
crazy.
well. But I think one thing that this is a team that on draft night, they could be a team that like this is super, super in a vacuum. I'm a Washington Wizards fan. This would never happen. But let's say they're like, okay, hey, what if we package Sexton and I think Kelly Olynyk has another year on his deal, or Kelly might be an expiring, but we'll package Sexton, Beasley, and Vando, and any pick that wasn't ours for Bradley Beal.
I wouldn't
And
be
then
surprised in the slightest. And you know what would be even crazier too that I'm not really thinking about? So they don't have their own first round pick next year. I think it would be fat. They do this year. They have 3 first round picks this year, which I think, and Minnesota's not looking great. I would not be surprised if they had a top pick, like a top 10. I think actually it might even be in their best interest to continue doing what they're doing. And then once All-Star break hits, they kind of phase out the vets just so you have a higher draft pick. Because, dude, if you look at their list of first round picks, it goes on and on and on and on and on. But
that's
what's the
why I
point of
think
having all those if you're ready to kind of start to contend soon? So say, yeah, like you're saying, say they have a top 5 pick and you have all these first round picks, you have several first round picks this year, and yeah, you get a guy like Bradley Beal. I wouldn't be
that's what
surprised at all
I
because
doubt that.
next year they don't have that own pick. So I think that's an extremely slept on thing. Is it's probably not even in Utah's best interest to continue this run because they have their own pick this year and they don't next year. So find the guys you like, phase out the vets, trade the vets, get those Jared Vanderbilts, dude. I watched that game last night. It is insane the amount of impact Jared Vanderbilt has. It is so crazy because it does not show up on the stat sheet. So
That's what I'm saying. And like obviously Bradley Beal, that wouldn't happen because he has a no trade clause, and he would obviously say
it's
fuck
it's a
no
good
to
example,
Utah.
yeah.
But it was just an example of a player who's on a big ass contract that because next year their highest paid player is Mike Conley on 24.3. So they might be they're like, oh, maybe we just keep this guy till the draft and we trade him. Colin Sexton makes 17.3 next year. He's the second highest paid player. Their third highest is Lowry Markin next year at 17.2. Then there's a team option on Malik Beasley for 16.5, another guy that they might just keep to use as salary filler. Player option for Jordan Clarkson. Kelly Olynyk on just, has another year of 12.1. Taylor Horn-Tucker has a player option that he'll probably accept. Nikhil Alexander-Walker can get a qualifying offer. Rudy Gay has a player option, and Jared Vanderbilt has another year on his deal. Ochai, rookie deal, and Simone Fontecchio another year, and Walker Kessler, rookie deal. So right there, you're looking, like you said, all these picks. And if we just look at like the top salaries of guys that we're already hearing in the rumor mill and all that for maybe next year that could possibly move, there were early in the summer, Klay Thompson. There was over here, we've heard potentially, Tobias Harris. I don't think he moves the needle, but we've seen Zach LaVine be brought up, DeMar DeRozan. Okay, Karl-Anthony Towns, if they can't coexist. And there's also, I brought up if Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. have worn out their welcome in Denver, or if DeAndre Ayton, okay, if that's something that's going to happen, or I think there's players out there that they could potentially pry off of teams with the amount of picks that they can offer. Or it's not even just one player. They could ask for a package of player. Like they'd go over to, I'm trying to think with a team with like multiple, maybe, they hit up the Orlando Magic. And I know you don't like the Orlando Magic, but
I
they're
love
like,
the Orlando Magic. It's my team state.
hey, Gary Harris, Terrence Ross might be on expiring, but Gary Harris got another year. Markel Fultz, Jonathan Isaac. We'll take all those players off your hands. Just get a huge defensive team.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It'll be cool to see. Now, we play a game every time to wrap up this show. If you guys, thank you. We had like 20 people watching this stream, so shout out to everyone who's watching this. That was you see that? We were hovering around 18, 19 for like half the episode.
Yeah, that made you forget about sleep for a little bit.
It did. It helped my wake me up. They come back alive.
Because usually Wednesday's the day there's like one person in here.
Yeah, so we're doing Pirtle, guys. If you guys don't know, we play usually on these days at the end of the stream, at the end of the episode, because we are a daily show that is live Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So be a friend, tell a friend, like and subscribe. We're live on Twitch and YouTube now, but let's get it. So right here, ooh, is this Teo Maldon?
I hope not. Looks like Matt Barner.
It did look like Matt Barner. Oh,
yes. Oh.
Can you see this good, or is it too small?
Yeah.
Make your screen big. If you look at the
I'll
bottom
go.
right.
What's Anthony Simons' hair look like these days?
He's got like a little fro, Anthony Simons. If you guys want to guess and like put your stuff, there's some stuff.
So skinny Matt Barnes.
Thomas, yeah, we were hovering around 20. That's what we need to start doing. Just getting a more concise show. Website's gonna be up. JJ Redick. Is it Jeremy Sohan? Or is it not a West?
No, it's a guard. Oh, he's 6'5". Jeremy Sohan's not a guard.
I know.
He's younger than 21. Who's 6'2"? No, JJ's on the. What's he on the Grizz? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Danny fucking Green.
Sorry, I was texting my girlfriend back. So he's not in the Southwest. He's a
who's
guard.
6'2"?
Oh, it's Landry Shamet, dude.
Nice. There's not too many 6'2" players.
It's a Suns player, dude. It's a Suns player.
Who's 6'2"?
Who's 6'5" on the Suns?
Oh fuck! What am I thinking of?
Landry Shamet.
That's Campaign then. It has to be Campaign.
No, Campaign's like 6'3". Is it Ismail Wainwright?
What? It's a guard, dude.
Who's their guards? Landry Shamet, Cameron Payne.
Is that Devin Booker?
Yep.
Devin Booker's. Oh, I keep thinking 6'2".
It's the earring. It's the earring.
Yes, I didn't even see the earring. Hey,
the
Thomas got it too.
Yeah, Thomas, good stuff. Love you, Thomas.
It does look. Yeah, I wanted to say that earlier, but.
All right, guys, that's today's show. I'm gonna finally go to bed. But if you guys did enjoy today's show, be a friend and tell a friend, like and subscribe. We'll be back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So anything else you want to say to the good people?
No.
All right. Have a good one, buddy. See you tomorrow.
Yep.